Welcome to the People's Guild.
Each week we explore the Splinterland universe with guests from all across the mythical land of Praetoria.
Join us on our journey as we discuss the evolution of the game, the strategy, the lore, and the exciting path that lies ahead.
To support the People's Guild, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and also check us out on PeakD, YouTube, and Twitter.
To send your questions, suggestions, and epic battles in our comments through Twitter or email at thepeoplesguildspl@gmail.com. We'll feature the best in our episodes and maybe airdrop you some prizes.
Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the People's Guild. Another year, another episode. Is that what we're doing these days, Jimmy?
Yeah, once a
couple
year is what it
months.
seems like it's happening. Yeah, a couple months.
It's been a couple months, man. Yeah, it was prior to. I checked as I was kind of teeing this one up. It was prior to Thanksgiving, MTG Jedi. That was our last episode. So yeah, for all of you guys that had messaged and dropped comments, where's the TPG at? We're back. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hope everybody is safe and happy and enjoyed the start of a new year. We had our first town hall for Splinterlands this past week of 2026, and to kick us off into the new year, of course, we got Jimmy back. Always great to see you, Jimmy.
You too, Jimmy, and happy Festivus since we left that out.
Happy Festivus.
For the rest of us. That's
For
right.
the rest of us, yeah.
Still want to push to make that the official Praetoria holiday at some point in the near future.
And to help us ring in the new season 5, kind of unbelievable, but yeah, here we are, season 5. We got the one and only Dave McCoy. As always, Dave, good seeing you. Thank you for taking the time to hang out, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy Festivus to both of you.
Just like that, it's become official, Jimmy.
Yeah,
well
It's
done.
official. We'll start with the airing of grievances.
I actually did try to get a happy, a Festivus holiday skin or something, and they laughed at me. Like you got to be kidding. But I thought
No, it's probably one of the most popular holidays on the planet if you actually think about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
shoot
the
for next year.
airing of grievances would be great. So
Oh, we do that. That's something we already do.
That's
we
called
have
Discord.
Standard.
That's called
oh
Discord.
yeah, good point. Yeah,
Yeah, we need the feats of strength, which are coming, I hear.
yeah.
Well,
I did. Clay did have a great idea. I want to give him credit for this, but I always ask Clay to come up with ideas because he's an idea guy. Clay's a really sharp guy, and he's like, how about this? How about instead of like Victoria's Secret, model, thing once a year in the spring, why don't we have a Praetoria's Secret, show? So he wants to, put some of our characters in swimsuits.
Tofu,
awesome.
I know Tofu's listening. I can guess what our next couple of shorts are gonna be highlighting Praetoria's Secret. Let's
That's
go.
some good wordplay too. That's
Yeah.
definitely good wordplay.
Yeah,
On
Clay's
that.
usually good at stuff like that. I thought it was fun, but going from fun to actually having it happen, Nate would have a heart attack on that one. So
That's why it's gonna be Tofu. I mean, I'm already picturing Vinny losing his mind with Jit Gorilla and in some sexy bikini.
We can get a defibrillator for Nate. He'll deal.
Speaking of, Tofu continues to churn out some amazing content with Vinny and Mags. He just dropped, for those of you that have not seen it yet, Tofu was given the mini set promo legendary card to reveal. I won't drop any spoilers here other than it's Portia Near, which from a lore perspective, I think ties up a lot of loose ends and connects some dots for the Praetorian history buffs. Go watch the video. Go check it out. Support Tofu. He's doing some really, really cool stuff.
that was absolutely amazing. Honestly,
was
that
so
was
good.
If you've seen any of Brave's work, this is the best one yet. I mean,
Oof.
I was like glued to the screen. I didn't know what was coming next. I love the
No
story,
way.
and
It was funny.
yeah, it makes you
I
laugh.
laughed out loud. Yeah,
Yep, me too.
Vinny trying to say one of the card names.
Yeah,
I'm gonna butcher it, but like Pali Fala Fala, some
yeah,
whatever it was. Yeah, very funny, man.
it
It's
was.
just such a great supplement and complement to everything that's going on in game, and it's always lighthearted, but it's always educational. It's accessible, even if you're not clued into Splinterlands. It's quick hits of fun entertainment. And it's exactly what we need. So yeah, shout out to Tofu. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And by the way, you guys are aware. I don't know whether you got the boxes or not, but there is going to be some Vinny and Mag skins coming out here, and we've already seen the prototypes of them, so I think you will be happy with them.
Oh, I bought boxes. I bought a
Yeah,
couple.
I got a couple.
maybe I could show you guys. You can't show your audience, but maybe I can figure out how to share it with you. Can I do that? Can I give you guys inside information, or should I wait?
Oh,
You
inside
can.
it. Well, it's no longer inside information once it's on here, Dave, with,
Oh yeah, I
with our
forgot.
massive listenership. But
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
right. Both of you guys out there gotta
yeah,
know what's going
all
on.
two of yous.
All right, let me find it. I'm gonna find it. Now I got to share my screen. You guys are gonna get a chance to check it out. Tell me what you think. This is a quick reaction. So
I'm gonna
it's
have to
gonna
think
be
it's gonna be Mags and
online
Vinny's
live.
cards too one
So,
day.
Oh,
so what?
definitely.
Actual in-game cards for Mags and Vinny.
And now I got to figure out how to. Okay, there it is. I had to go full screen. All right, full screen. I just share my screen. I think that'll get it there. All right, can you guys see this?
Yep.
Me
Yep.
and Vinny and Meg. All right, so this is you guys get a glimpse behind the curtain. So this is the caravan. Oops, I can't name the names. So here's one of the cards. This would be
Skin.
the whispered skin.
Ooh.
That is
This would be
sick.
this would be the archive skin.
Ooh.
Got lore with them, right? Don't say what it is.
Damn.
This is
I
the
would have bought more
whispered.
chests if I knew this was how cool the skins were gonna be.
Yep. And this is the
Damn.
archived. See that there, Jangles?
I will
That's
not buy that
badass.
one out of protest. I will get these though. That is badass.
Yeah, is it not? So that's whispered. That's the archived.
Those are
This
awesome.
is your
Sick.
Oh,
That is so badass.
that's almost inappropriate on the bottom there.
Oh,
And then this
shoot.
is the last one.
Oh man,
Nice.
great choice. Great choice to include that card.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Ah.
You think he knows what he's doing?
I will definitely be. I mean, all of these belong in my collection. I will 100% be going out to the market to acquire these. These are badass.
Those
Badass.
are awesome. And like I said, had I known that they were going to be this much better than current skins, I would have definitely bought more chests. I just bought a token like 2, I think, just to have some there.
Yeah, well, I think you can actually buy. I mean, you'll be. Well, I know you can buy the skins, when they come out too. So I'm sure
So,
there's
Get them
some
off the
people
market.
that not going to be their thing.
Are they only going to be airdropped like via the token, or can you actually buy them like from the store, from the shop?
Yeah, you won't be able to buy them from the shop, but they will be in the market.
Well, sellable, right? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well,
Yeah.
Dave, if there's any one of them that you want to include as no longer insider information, you can screenshot the artwork and I'll put it in the post for folks.
Yeah, I
Other-
don't want to do that only because this is concept and it hasn't gone through the
Gotcha.
creative, like in other words, what we do is we go to him and say, hey, what do you want? Right. And then we take what you want, and then we go to our artist and say, go try to make something that, captures this.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
So
Okay.
it could be even better. But I'll put it this way, from Brave's point of view, or what Brave came up with was pretty badass.
Totally agree. Yeah, those are sick.
That was
I
all Brave.
want
That
all of
was all
them.
Brave skins right there.
That was all Brave. Yep.
Damn. So when's he gonna be on the payroll? That's my question.
He's like a
He's
notch
doing
above,
actually he's
man.
doing more as a volunteer than I think anyone ever. It's
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
he literally could be making films.
Hmm.
I mean, he knows how to tell a story. He's, very intricate. He's a very smart guy.
Oh,
And
he's learned all that. I mean, what I really appreciate about Tofu is he's documented his whole journey, like through the very beginnings of creating this channel. He shared his, what does his workflow look like using DaVinci, using Resolve, using what AI to generate what elements of the video. Um, and he's learned on the fly, and it's evolved into this, I think really polished. And like I said, I think it does more for the lore than, and this isn't a knock at the creative team in our attempts to build awesome lore. Tofu's just expanded on it and really run with it. And uh, we're in a world where short form content, video content is king, and Tofu has really cornered that element of telling the lore stories with two lovable characters that are Vinny and Mags. Yeah, well done. And this is just a feather in the cap, man. Those skins are all badass. Well done,
yeah,
Tofu.
Yeah, they are.
yeah. And
Everyone.
we didn't want to hype it, going into it, but the idea is, I mean, he's a community member, right? So the bottom line is, like, now a community member was able to do such good work that, we look at it and say, hey, could you make something for, everybody, right? And it's actually in the game. I think that's pretty cool. And hopefully, he's the first of many that can do stuff like this. And I think with, the minds that we have in the community, I mean, we can do a lot. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen Affliction. He's done some amazing videos as well. Like, we just have people that have a lot of talent, a lot of energy, a lot of drive, to make things that, the team just doesn't have time to do. So I'm super stoked about, this spot in time we are, because with AI be getting better and better every single day, like the types of things that we can do with, whether it's short stories or, you know, stuff like what we talked about originally, like just doing a reveal, I mean, it's just all really cool. So I'm
Well,
excited.
to me, it kind of represents, exactly what you're talking about, Dave. It kind of represents the culmination of this very cool relationship that the community has always had with the company, and this just marries those two in a way that is so unique and so special. Like, what other games have fan created stuff, community member, generated artwork that makes it into the game, and it's a prize. Like, I can't come up with a single name on that list. Like, that's badass, and it's such a cool precedent. Um, not only is Tofu a great content creator, but he's one of the biggest Splinterland supporters that I know, and he puts his money where his mouth is. Like, he's got one of the premier accounts in the game, and you look on the top holders list of just about anything, and Tofu's probably on that list. Um, yeah, so I just love the precedent of marrying community and final products that is perfectly represented with this stuff coming in game. So kudos to the team as well for taking that idea and running with it and bringing it to life.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, he's the first of many. It's how I look at it. And these five skins that he's doing are the first five skins. My guess is 5 years from now, 10 years from now, Tofu's gonna, Vinny and Mags are gonna be making even more skins, and it's gonna be a thing everybody's gonna look forward to. Like, hey, what's Vinny and Mags gonna come out with next? So I'm excited, because that's how we leverage what we have. Guys like that. It's not hard to spot, talent. Um, but I certainly want to harness it.
And do we spill the beans? Let everyone know that we're getting Tofu on the show. He's
I think
agreed.
it's public knowledge. He's
Is
he's
it?
he's putting it
Okay.
out there. Yeah,
Okay.
we gotta get SPS to a certain watermark, and Tofu will be
He'll be
gracing
on the
the
show.
TPG airwaves. Yeah.
Yeah, he really is a good guy. I mean, I didn't do it just because he's. In fact, I didn't do it at all because he's a big holder. I did it because the quality of his work is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's throwing it all out there. I mean, he's
Yeah.
just doing it. He's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dave, you know that this precedent is the natural next step is for us to want the bus in game. Maybe the easier way to get the bus in game is for me to whisper in Tofu's ear and say, "Hey, introduce the bus into the Vinny and Mags short shorts."
Oh, there you go, man. Man, it's got to have little
Yes.
fat Jimmy
That's our
sticker on the
loophole,
front
Jimmy.
too.
That's our loophole,
Yeah,
Jimmy. We
yeah,
gotta weigh
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
It should drive by in the background every once in a while. That would be pretty awesome.
Blasting air horns and explosions behind the
Yeah,
bus.
totally leaning out the window with air horns.
Gotta have mustaches too.
Yeah.
Mustaches for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've actually seen those. Some people put the mustaches on the front of the cars,
Totally. Yeah.
and I'm glad Dave brought up the mustaches. I didn't have to now.
Yes.
Dude,
Well,
that's firmly a piece of the TPG story is mustaches, googly eyes, explosions, and air horns, dude. That's I don't know if that's necessarily what I wanted to ever be associated with, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't choose. Things just
Yeah, they
happen.
choose you. Yeah,
They
that's
choose
how it
you.
works. All right, gentlemen. Well, we got some really cool shit. As I mentioned, town hall first town hall of 2026 was just this past week, and it was a good one. There's some big stuff continuing to be cooked up in the kitchen at Old Pretoria. One thing, and we talked a little bit about this off air, and I definitely want to dive into it a fair bit, is survival mode was kind of mentioned in passing in the town hall, and I have heard, I think Aftersound published a video, maybe it was one of his comments videos, asking about survival mode, wondering, are we getting it before the end of Q1? Is there any sort of update we want to put out there for the good listenership of TPG, Dave? Is survival mode still happening? Is it coming at all in 2026? What's going on in the world of survival?
yeah, I think we'll probably be able to figure out how to squeeze it in. Um, yeah, Matt had forgot when he put the list of priorities up in one of the answers on the town hall channel, he forgot to put it up, and a couple people were like sort of freaking out, like, what happened? Aren't you guys going to focus on survival mode? And the answer is yes, absolutely, we are. It's actually already been coded. So it's in the testing phase right now. So we're going through the polishing phase where, like, can we include this? Is there a better way to put that? Things like that. But the guts is already out in terms of internally. So we're shooting for February, early February, actually. Depending on the feedback and Jangles, I asked you and your testing crew from the outside to kind of test the UI for us a little bit. So depending on how that comes back, that will depend on, when we launch. So if you guys give it a thumbs up and are ready to go, then we can launch. If you guys, say, hey, could you switch this around and change that and, do things that are going to make it better and more polished, then, it may take a couple weeks longer, but at the end of the day, we're close, very close. And
Awesome.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and I mean it coincides with I know there's some more land stuff that's going to be playing towards survival mode. The Phoenix Ash, I think, is the official landed on name of the potion. Is that right? Phoenix Ash?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. I have seen that kind of, well, I guess I have seen it indirectly kind of crop up in the land baron channel as a project that is coming swiftly down the pike. But Yeah, as far as the testing goes, I have seen it on the server. It looks good. It looks true to form. You know, that original proposal that was put out by Clay and the SPS DAO. It looks like, you know, we've got the 11 brackets. There should be something for everybody. There's encouragement for, you know, the guys that are brand new to Splinterlands to partake in yet another game mode, which is awesome. It's distinct from ranked. It's distinct from tourneys and brawls.
Does that include energy? Does it have its own energy system?
It's still cards. It's card
Yeah,
based.
play as much as you want.
That's what I
Yep.
mean. Yeah, you're not limited to 50,
Oh no, no.
50
You
back.
play as long as your collection is not exhausted.
Bam, that's badass.
I don't think SPS isn't factored into survival, is it? Do you guys
How,
remember? I
how do you
don't think
mean?
it. Meaning
Rewards?
the amount you stake doesn't matter.
Ooh,
If you stake
Uh,
you stake 1,000, I don't think it matters.
I don't think that was addressed in the proposal. I think
I don't.
it's a product of your CP,
Yeah, I
not
know.
yeah. So it has nothing to do with your stake. Uh,
Yeah,
it's how much of a card collection do you possess going into
right.
the brackets,
And
which is
how well do
a
you
very
play?
cool
How
and
well do you
different
manage
dynamic.
your cards? Right, like
Yes.
how you
Yeah.
manage your cards. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't pay enough attention, to be 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. I do know a couple things that are going to be interesting, that we're going to learn, and this is more like we do a lot of things, and I call them proof of concept a lot. Like, hey, this is a proof of concept, and this is one of them. The reason why I'm excited about it is not so much for survival mode itself. Like, I think that's going to be fun and good and a lot of different ways to play. But we're going to be, bringing back leagues, for instance, in some of them. And then there will be the other way of playing without the leagues as well. So there will be some with leagues, some without the leagues, some with modern. I mean, yeah, some modern cards only, some all cards being used. Some you can use bots, some you got to be a human, things like that. There's a lot of variation there. And then what's interesting is the way the payouts are going to work, or at least the intention of how the payouts are going to work. And this is something that we've never done before that I think is a big deal, because what you're going to be able to do is the cards that are played in the bracket. So you enter a bracket. For the people that don't know, you enter a bracket and you're there for the whole season. So Jimmy, if you pick bracket 3, whatever that happens to be, you're in bracket 3 that whole season. Can't go into bracket 4, can't go into bracket 8. You're in bracket 3 the whole season. However many people go in bracket 3 with you, you guys are like one group of people. Your total, and I'm just going to make up a number of SPS, let's say 100,000 SPS is paid to all 11 brackets, like that's the total payout. Then it's not even, it's not, like divided by 11. It's based on what are the cards being played in that mode. So if if the three of us are in bracket 3, then the cards we play, the collection power of those cards all like add together. And then the system will take all those people in bracket 3 and say, all right, you guys were 8% of the whole game. Like, of all the people that put the cards in and played them, you guys comprised 8% of the total. So you get 8% of the prize pool at the end. So then what happens? Okay, so now we're in bracket 3. It's the three of us and let's say 8 other people. That's 8% of that 100,000. And then the people that are in there, like, essentially rank against each other. So of course Jangles will be the worst. So he will probably get hardly anything. Jimmy will be pretty good, and of course I'll be the best. And then what will happen is, like, I'll get like 60% of whatever is in the bracket. Jangles will get maybe 2 SPS for his pitiful time.
A penny from your thoughts.
Yeah.
now does that include?
Yeah,
Is
go
that
ahead.
like cards actually played, like
Yes.
in the battle, not like what the
Yes.
collection is sitting on?
Correct. Correct.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the cards
That's
that are
cool.
actually played is what's going to count.
Well, and something else that's new and very different to how Splinterlands has historically operated is payouts don't occur until the end of the season.
Yep.
So you're accumulating points, and your record is cumulative throughout the season, and then it's not until the season ends that the final payout is determined, which is another cool layer of new and different.
Yep. Yeah, and we did not penalize anybody for losses in the original design, but it was considered, if you remember, Jangles, back at the time, we were going to give like 2 points for a win and minus 1 point for a loss, and then you have to like not only spam a good team, right? Like that's how a lot of people played it in the past, but you also got to be careful if you're getting beat, right? You get beat too many times or have a 30% win rate, you might end up losing the things you did win. So it's a way of elevating the way people play. But we didn't start that way. Basically we're making it, you win, you get X amount of points, and it's all relative. It's, how many points, how many wins did Jangles have? How many did Jimmy have? How many did Dave have? What was the total of everybody? And what was your percent of that bracket? So it couldn't be any more fair in terms of distribution. A lot of times we see people complaining about, you know, these guys get too much or these guys get too little, or usually it's those guys get too much and I get too little, that kind of thing. But it really, I mean, couldn't be any more fair. The payouts are going to be based on the cards being played, the collection power of the cards being played. And then within the bracket, it's going to be who's the best in that bracket. So if you get in a bracket, let's say you make a mistake and go into the really good bracket with Tofu and Vunctus and just the monsters out there that are just great players and great cards, right? And you make a mistake and you hop in theirs, well, you're stuck there for a whole season. But the next season you can go, okay, well, I don't want to go in that bracket. Like I don't know what that bracket would be. Let's say it's bracket 8. You just don't want to go in bracket 8 again. You're going to want to probably, move down. And so people will find what makes sense. Like there's even a novice league, all level 1 cards. Can't play higher than a level 1 card. So I mean, you can
Yes.
actually play a max level card, but it will be capped at novice. So anybody can play the game. Anybody. You can go rent level 1 cards till your heart's content. Or if you own a ton of them, go that way too.
I do own a ton of them. I believe you do too.
I
Old
do.
alpha betas. I can't
Yep.
combine all those for no real reason.
Yep.
They're
Yeah,
just sitting
and
there.
they're Splinterland cards, and this is a Splinterland game, and some people are going to find that fun. Some people are going to enjoy playing for the fun of playing the game.
Yeah, I always enjoyed playing at different leagues and different levels. Like playing silver is really fun. Playing bronze is a whole different thing, much more challenging than people think sometimes too. And then gold was its own thing. Whenever I tried different leagues and the different brawls, it's literally an entirely different game.
Yeah, and it's going to be important to see. We have so many arguments about stuff, and one by doing it this way, we're going to use liquidity bots. So people are going to be playing against the liquidity bots a lot. We don't, staffing up 11 leagues or 11 brackets is, like it would be impossible to have a match every second with another human. So a lot of the matches are going to be against liquidity bots. But the cool thing is you are like if it's the three of us playing against the same liquidity bots, the better guy is going to come out with more wins, basically. So it's going to be fair for everybody. So, um,
So
it's going to be
these go
interesting.
to 11. They literally go to 11.
There's 11 different ways you can play.
Oh,
Yep.
we have to
We even have one.
capitalize on that. We
We
have to.
even have one. I call it the Dave League. It's a league where you can play max level cards, but the bot you're playing against is capped at silver, which means because there's a lot of
We just
people that
kick its
just
ass all day.
aren't good, right? They just aren't going to ever be able to beat the cards at their level. That would be one that we want to see if people like, hey, I just want to go play, right? And win sometimes, right? Like that, and that's just a different way of playing. And whether people like it or not, like I said, that's kind of how I play. Like I'm a chucker. I just, I look at my deck and say, all right, what do I want to play? Like I don't know the meta or exactly what to play in any spot. Like I'm not a Jangles. I can beat Jangles, but that's just because he has no idea what's coming. So
Because it's the wild card. Dave's the
yeah,
wild card.
it's like, what
Bam!
the hell are you doing playing that for? You're not supposed to play that card. Like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Wild card.
I'm
Woo!
sorry I had to beat your butt, Jangles.
No, you're not. No, you're not, Dave. That was I don't even know how long ago that was. I'm never gonna live that one down. It's
Yeah, it's safe. It's safe.
Did-
yeah, I love that survival brackets are introducing, I think the leagues, and I mean that was obviously a very polarizing conversation once upon a time. I think in certain circles it still is. Um, it's such an important element to Splinterlands because, like Jimmy says, it's if you're playing at novice versus silver versus gold versus max, you're playing completely different games and giving folks the agency to choose which game you want to play, which league you want to play is so important. And I think it's such a critical element that has been missed with Splinterlands for a long time now. So I'm super excited. This gives me a reason with Survival 1.0. I tried playing my silver account, which is far more built out than my main account from a card collection perspective. I have far more cards. I've got alphas, I got betas, uh, all at silver level. But it made zero sense for me to continue competing in survival because I can play one day and then my collection is completely wiped out for the season. Where all of a sudden this makes a very compelling reason for me to get involved in maybe the bronze, maybe the silver bracket, and I can probably compete for leaderboard with that account because I have such a deep collection there. So I'm super excited for what this means. Obviously, um, some of the elements of the brackets, I think there is a good group of folks that are kind of sitting with bated breath that this could represent the future of what Splinterlands looks like, where you choose your own adventure, which I think is such an awesome way to consume Splinterlands. Um, on another note, we had a conversation yesterday, and I've already gotten the green light to bring this up. We talked about a hypothetical bracket number 12 with something like Boss Monsters. Um, Boss Monsters was mentioned on the last town hall. We've heard some whispers of what Boss Monsters could look like. This is something that has been years and years in the making, and it's coming to life this year. I think everybody's super excited about it. Um, but if I think if as soon as we remove the blinders of thinking Splinterlands has to be played this way, which is how we've been perceiving the game for the last X number of years, and we start thinking out of the box in terms of maybe there's a boss monster league, maybe there's a co-op league, maybe there's a big team battle league where you can put two summoners and 15 monsters on the board. All of a sudden, like we're really dipping into some really fun new territory with what we can do with our cards. And I love that survival, obviously this proposal passed. It's set to run, I believe, for 6 seasons. There's a decent size SPS pool that's going to be up for grabs for folks that are participating. Um, it represents an absolute massive sea change in the way that I think Splinterlands can and should be perceived and consumed. And I'm super stoked. We're less than, you said the goal is sometime February. That's, next 4 weeks. Um, yeah, I'm pumped.
That's your new nickname, Pumps. There's Pumps over there.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited too. I hope people show up. Honestly, I hope that all the people that wanted leagues, all the people that want to play a different way than what we're playing, show up, right? If they show up and show us like there's demand for that, then yeah, of course we're gonna learn, right? And that's kind of like the way I do things. If people can like I'm okay with experiment. Okay with trying different things. And if we find things that people get happy with, why would we not want to do them? So um, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you like leagues or you like to play in silver, like what Jangles just said, or Jimmy, I forget what league you wanted to play in, but let's
Level
say
one, everything.
all right, there you go, level
No, I'm
one.
kidding.
You
But
know,
yeah, I'll try that. Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
point is like just you guys show up, let your guild mates know, tell people like, hey, let's try it out. One other thing that we're gonna have in there that is gonna be helpful is number one, the cooldown rules are a lot less in the lower leagues. So, like he said when he showed up, he played once. As soon as he lost his cards, the first time he's done for the season, the cooldowns were changed for the lower leagues, so they will rejuvenate a lot faster. In addition to that, we created a new token called the Phoenix Ash token, which is usable on land or will be usable on land in a week. And then when survival launches, it will also be used to speed the cooldown factor. So,
That's
um,
awesome. And just
yeah,
the fact that it's a whole completely separate from every other mode is a major step forward too, because that was another thing. You lost your cards in survival before. You couldn't play ranked, you couldn't play brawls, you couldn't play tournaments. It
yeah,
was
yeah. There's no impact on the other modes. So,
that's huge. I think we're going to see a lot more participation as a direct result of that.
yep, I hope
I mean,
so.
that's enough for me to be like, yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Let me give it a shot. Dip my toes in, see how we do. And then
And
once again,
also, and if people show up, the other thing that's a big deal is right now we tried it with our money. Now the Dow's going to fund 6 seasons, based on the proposal. If it works and people like it and it's, asked for, then, obviously the Dow will probably think about, possibly putting some more SPS behind it, I would think, because their goal is to have people play and love playing the game. Also, Splinterlands could do things like come up with prizes like skins or some Glint or like there's things that we can do to encourage it, down the road. But first, we're going to need people to show up and show that they like playing. So another reason why if you like the mode, make sure you tell others, to get them playing at the same time.
gotcha. Yeah, that makes perfect sense right there. Ah, nice. So in modes where bots are allowed, it's not bots only, right? So I could like run a bot some days and then play manually if I
Yeah.
choose.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
That's
No, you
yeah.
don't. You don't. There will be some that you have to play as a human, so you're
Hmm.
not allowed to bot, and then there will be
Cool.
others that you're perfectly fine to use a bot or play and beat up the bots. Like if you're better than the bots, then
Yeah.
you may want to play in that mode because they're like, hey, I know these bots suck, I can beat them.
Yeah, I remember way back in the day when you'd see like Babu Bot, and you'd be like, "Oh, he's going to play Prince Renyan 9 times out of 10. Let me counter that with this thing."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, obviously they're pretty good. If you play wild, but a lot of people like even like guys like Real Legal, they play wild. They don't play manual. There's a couple guys I've run across that are just like that. They really enjoy playing, a diverse deck. And,
Oh
so
yeah, I'm the same way. I definitely prefer Wild, and I just haven't kept up with Modern and all the abilities and even just all the cards too. So it's fun to just jump into Wild and just
I
blast
think
out some
that's
bats.
yeah, that's why a lot of people also like brawls, because they
Yeah.
can play a lot of the teams are varied. So, and then all the people that, the other thing is all the people that maybe, invested in the game, years ago and haven't kept up, right? They can come back and they can play. There's no cost to play. There's no battle pass. There's, no SPS requirement. You just show up and you play.
So, and yeah, come play your Chaos cards,
Yeah, play
which are
chaos
some damn
cards
good cards.
and
Chaos Legion was a damn good deck,
yeah,
or a damn good
definitely.
edition, I do have to say.
And beta and alpha and untamed and dice and orbs and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, Dice, I still think is incredibly underrated, man. Some of those little 3 mana summoners are just clutch in certain situations.
Yeah, I picked up a couple when I started looking at the market, trying to pick up cards, cheap for the land cards, to burn for sender.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I looked at the market. I couldn't believe how cheap some of them were, and
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. I picked up a couple of the ones I didn't have a lot of, like some of those legendaries, like the Two Gun Pete and
Hmm.
things like that. So as a collector, I just like getting stuff like that.
Yeah, and you didn't burn them, did you?
Oh hell no! I knew I wasn't. Once I bought them, I'm like, I'm never gonna burn them. But I
Yeah,
still, yeah.
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so,
Yeah, Ouster, the Magic Reflect summoner. I still think he's one of the most underutilized summoners in the game. And you throw him up there with Amplify in a Magic only
yep,
match, like you rarely lose. You
yeah,
rarely lose.
yep, yeah. I like that stuff, and like I do. I play brawls. I love playing the brawls. For that reason.
Yeah, same. Same. Absolutely. I actually went through because I often do the silver level brawl when it's available. And literally, because I have so many of my good alpha cards and beta cards are on land. I pulled some betas off actually to get into the gameplay, but I also just bought a whole bunch of silver level cards just for brawls. Like it was going through beta, and you're like, dude, there's all this amazing shit on the market right now. I'm just grabbing a bunch of these to have for brawls,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
come in very handy.
yep. Agreed. What about you, Jangles?
What did I miss? What are we talking about? Sorry,
How
my
awesome dice
address
is.
my address is a huge pain in the ass to find, and this delivery guy got lost.
Yeah,
Uh,
Oh no. So I had to
we.
stand outside with an air horn and say, follow the
yeah,
air
pretty
horn.
much, pretty much. We talking about old cards?
Yeah, we were just talking about playing in general. He asked if it was bot only or if it was just bots allowed. And the answer was it was bots allowed. There will be a spot where only humans are allowed, but there will be other ones where bots are allowed and humans allowed. So, humans are never excluded from playing Splinterlands, at least at this point. I mean, I guess you could have a mode where it was bot on bot, but I don't know really how much fun that would be.
Yeah. Well, it's really it comes down to like how do you want to consume Splinterlands, which I think is a question that was always has traditionally been answered for us. Where I think the brackets gives us a choice for the players really get to ask and answer that question for themselves for the first time ever, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. I mean, all the different, like you started out by saying that we're going to have a 12th bracket at some point, just because you actually tested not a boss monster, but you tested a thing called an Overlord. And the Overlord is like a boss monster. It's just an Overlord. It's not a boss monster. It's an Overlord.
That's a better name, I do have
Yeah.
to say.
Well,
Definitely.
well, the
The
Overlord
Overlord.
is going to be start in Frontier mode, and it's going to be a prize and a special thing that you can get. We're going to have all kinds of cool stuff coming up in Frontier mode. If you guys remember, we launched the Battle Pass and the prizes for the special arcanes and all that kind of, and the black foils in the in Frontier first. We're doing something similar in Frontier again, where we're going to try some new things. It's going to be a spot where kind of like the sandbox idea we've talked about, many times. And that's so we're in the process of designing a good experience for those guys that come in. Like there's going to be a wheel spin and special prizes and skins and things that they can win that's fun and exciting for them, as well as like we just talked about the Overlord, which would be like a little boss that isn't actually that little. Like Jangles got to play one. In fact, he got to play 7 matches. I think he lost 6 of them. So, it's find out that, it's not so easy to beat that sucker, but it is fun when you beat it. So, um, Jangles, you wanna give some color there besides,
That I lost.
yeah.
Yeah, the whole concept is absolutely brilliant. And to your point of Frontier serving as the sandbox, I think, this represents everything that I was so excited about Frontier mode. And you guys are just knocking it out of the park, testing new stuff in Frontier mode, seeing that there's legs, figuring out, okay, how, obviously there's attraction to this thing. How do we bring it to life in ranked or survival, or is this something that's better suited for guild brawls? Just using Frontier as that sandbox to test and develop stuff, I think is one of the massive silver linings of having something like Frontier mode, where shout out to Ghostly. Like, I don't know a single person who plays more Frontier matches than Ghostly. He absolutely loves it. He's in there. I think he's got 3 accounts on the top 10 or top 20 in the leaderboard, consistently, season over season. And he's I don't know if he's a glutton for punishment, but there's some guys that say, "Oh, Frontier mode, it's not for me." I think if we continue to develop Frontier mode in the version of a sandbox where we're testing and trying new, fun, entertaining, engaging stuff, we're gonna find the population that says Frontier mode's not for me. It's gonna be continually shrinking. You guys are putting more and more reasons for those folks, the naysayers, to come in and give it a go. And at the end of the day, the Boss Monsters represents, A, it's PvE. That's something that we've been asking for absolute eternity.
Forever. Yeah.
And B, it's always going to be different. Like, we walked through a little bit of how the Boss Monsters or Overlords, excuse me, are created, and it's a dynamic dice roll and dice roll, dice roll, dice roll to determine, what are your stats, what are the Overlord's abilities. So it's just a really fun, again, a really fun and new and engaging way to interact with Splinterlands. And yeah, I decided, we ran through, I think, like you said, 6 or 7 battles yesterday. I won 1, and then I said, okay, enough of that. I'm playing modern cards. I'm not losing again. And that was almost just as satisfying. It's still a challenge. You have to think about, which abilities are in my wheelhouse that I can turn to counter this boss monster. And yeah, the strategy is a lot of fun, and it's something that I think we've gone away from. You can't just spam the same 1 or 2 teams over and over and over and expect continual victory. It forces you to think strategically, and what's going to be the answer to this new overlord that I'm facing. Well, you've got to go back to the drawing board each and every time and kind of retool your squad to be the appropriate opponent, and hopefully victorious opponent. I love it. It's fun. It's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Royal Eagle and Gator. Gator obviously created the dynamic of cards changing second by the second. So we can change a card every second, which we never had before. Like if you had a Lord of Darkness, it was a Lord of Darkness with certain stats and abilities, and every Lord of Darkness was the same. Gator with the avatar card, the exemplars, he made it so that your exemplar was different than my exemplar, and yours could change in 2 seconds, and you can play it. And by doing that, he opened up the possibility of this. And then Royal literally, I had a conversation with him. It's been about a week ago, and we went over ideas, and within a day, I mean, the dude had them up and working like unbelievable, So, now we're in the phase where, we're testing it, making sure that, we got some boundaries, that we can make a good experience, for people and make it fun and exciting, which, Jangles is a testament. He actually played. Jimmy got to watch a match today. It's not quite the same watching it as when you're playing it, but it is a challenge. I remember when I beat it the first time, I was like, I never thought I was going to win. And you manage to pull it off. It's really cool. And I also want to point out that this dynamic is for Frontier, and it's a sandbox dynamic. We're also planning on Boss Monster mode as its own mode in campaign, which is going to be slightly different than what we're doing here. So there's going to be really two different PvEs happening relatively quick. The boss monsters themselves is probably going to take a little longer because it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be more like a gauntlet mode where you're going to have multiple battles and then, you fight your way to get to the boss monster. But so you're going to have to beat other guys, and win other matches before you can get to the boss monster. And then when you do, then it's going to be pretty exciting, in my opinion, because you're gonna be using your exemplar, which is fun. You'll also be using your deck, and then you'll try to see how high you can climb. Because every time you beat the boss monster, once you finally get to him and beat him, he'll get better. Like every time you beat him, he'll get better. So, who's gonna get the highest, right? Who's gonna beat him the most? And it's gonna be over a period of time. It won't be a game where you'll play like 100 times a day. It will be where you play once or twice a day type thing. And it will be like a challenge. So that's just two different PvE modes. So again, one is a boss monster, one is called an overlord. It didn't take long, like within a week of Royal developing that all of a sudden they were saying, hey, this could be a 12th mode in survival mode. Like honestly, there's a ton of ways that we're going to be able to use this. So I'm super excited for the dynamic.
Can I make a request that we get the final monster or the final overlord is like the dark version of Gator? Like he is the final stage boss.
That would be amazing with his
Like
actual face on there.
Yeah, a dark Gator, him and Bear.
I think
That'd
we
be
could
fun.
possibly do something like that. That would be good. Gator definitely needs to be in the game. I don't think we have an alligator in the game, do we?
I don't think we do.
So yeah,
Maybe
we
in
probably
one of the
should.
older sets. That's probably a Jimmy question.
No, I
I
don't
mean,
remember any alligator. Nothing in alpha. Nothing in
you know,
beta.
I
Nothing
mean,
in untamed.
Gator's probably well, I would say not probably. Gator is the most important person in the game, in my opinion.
A final
In other
stage
words,
boss.
There you
he's
go.
it, man. So yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Hell
Or an
yeah.
actual
To
alligator
remind me,
when it
I'm
opens
old.
up.
I'm
When
old
it
on.
opens up all the way, there's like
It
gators trapped
it
inside.
steals your exemplar's left hand or whatever if you lose. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's the precedent is awesome. And man, I thinking back to so Dave, we're fast approaching your year anniversary as being COO, and just kind of we didn't really have we had talked about trying to do a Christmas episode recap in 2025. I guess this is going to be the default kind of year in review retrospective thing, and it's appropriate that you're here since we're coming up on your 1 year being a part of the team. Man, thinking back to the amount of stuff that you guys churned out in 2025, and not just like petty nickel and dime upgrades. It was like massive changes. It's a completely different world. I think we're still in the woods a little bit. We got 6 years prior to your arrival as COO, but I feel more confident in the direction of Splinterlands than I have in a long time, and that conviction has just continued to grow over the last year. Watching you help steer the team in the direction and in the velocity. More importantly, the velocity has just been amplified, and the delivery is just crazy. So to think what now that everybody is kind of beaten to the same drum, and we've got a year of this new culture of Dave McCoy under our belts. It's really exciting to think, the fact that you say it took a couple days for Eagle to churn out this this Overlord development stuff is just crazy. And if we can, continue to kind of see these, maybe it feels like a little bit of a minor tweak, but actually the mechanic in which this stuff is created, that has huge implications. Like we could the amount of cool stuff that is currently unseen that could be spawned off of this basic idea and mechanic created by Eagle. I mean, sky's the limit. So, I survival mode, a new bracket, Overlords, Boss Monsters, and it's January 21st, January 22nd, and we're already shaping up to have a really really big Q1. And all of this stuff I think is going to help our bottom line of attracting new players, giving more ways to consume Splinterlands. It only helps our case when we're reaching out to folks that are Splinterlands unknown. So yeah, don't know where I'm going with that. One of my famous Jangles rambles about the good shit that we've done the last year, but yeah, you great work, Dave. I'm stoked.
Well, thank you. And honestly, it's an incredible team. So, I really don't do anything. Like I said, I'm not the guy that is coding anything or, usually, coming up with the ideas. I just try to understand a lot. I think about a lot and push a lot. I think, we can do a lot, in everything in life, whatever we do. Like you can do more always if people expect it, right? If you don't expect it, then you're probably not going to get more. But if you do expect it, and honestly, I think the pace has picked up because it's taken a while for people kind of to get used to it. But at the same token, they were always able to do it. They're just now moving at a quick pace. So yeah, we do have a lot of stuff on the. What's funny is we were doing the town hall the other day, and Matt's like, "Yeah, we got these things that I know about, right? And they probably have other things." And then Gator's like, "Yeah, they do." you know. And the funny thing is, like, Blaze has got like 5 spec sheets on his desk, of things that we're already like, 3 months in the future of things that we want to do. So it's exciting. It really is. We do have to crack the new players thing. We did manage to get a lot of people to come in. I mean, I keep bringing up the 11,000 people in a quarter. You know, you know, that's a lot of people. I mean, 11,000 people come into our game, right? But I'm not happy with the amount that stay around. So that is a major focus. It was a major focus last year, but part of it is trying to, like, how do you measure it? We had to put tools in place for that. A lot of experimentation of, for instance, campaign mode came during that period of time, and we learned some things about that. Like, some part of it's good. It's certainly a good representation of something quality that they did in terms of the way it's put together. But on top, in addition to that, we also found that there was a lot of people that didn't finish it. So it just doesn't appeal to everybody. So yeah, it's not like you just do one thing and everybody's going to be attracted to it. There's a lot of different ways to teach people stuff. So you're going to see a lot more focus in 2026 on different ways to reach people. And I'll give you an example just so I don't, just a good way to explain it. Like, for instance, you can make what, 6.5% by staking your SPS in the game. How many people out of those 11,000 people do you think knew that? Right? Like, nobody. We don't tell them. Unless they know to go click a button somewhere and see what the ROI is on this thing called SPS that they don't even know what it is. Like, they don't even know that they could make 6.5%, on their SPS. They don't know that they can rent it out, so it's actually more than 6.5% if they understand rentals. But there's a lot of people in the world that look to put money. I mean, there's billboards everywhere that, hey, invest with us and you can make whatever 6% or 8% or whatever the number is. So it's like things like that. We don't really do a good job yet on really reaching in and like not everybody that shows up to Splinterlands has to be a high-end gamer like you, Jingles. Like, I joke about beating you. I'll be honest, you're a good player. You are a good player.
Thanks
So
for
not
setting the record straight, Dave.
not everybody, is like you though. Like some people are gonna come to our game for the DeFi aspect. Some people are gonna come for the land part of it. Like they like the sim type situation. So, we're gonna be focusing on, all these different ways to play our game at the same time, not giving up, the core, like, what people, have learned to love. One thing we do really, really well is we make a game for people like you that really love to play a deep and intricate game. So that part we got down. Now we got to like support it, with our strengths. And another thing that we do really well is we have a lot of tools, like all these companies that are out there that keep going out of business. It's pretty amazing in the Web3 space how many people have gone out of business. Like it's almost shocking. Clay has to, he can't put up proposals for one or two. He has to put like a list of them, like 8 of them or 10 of them or, just a lot because they're failing. There's a lot of people in our space that are failing. And I look at it and it's like they don't have the tools we have. Like we actually have some incredible tools. Yeah, we have things we have to improve on, but we definitely have some tools that put us in a great spot relative to the competition. So I'm excited. And most importantly, we have SplinterVibes coming out. I have to make sure I bring that up because at some point, in this People's Guild, we have to talk about SplinterVibes because that's literally going to be launching next week.
Next week.
Yep.
So
Whoa.
for the
Yeah.
folks that don't remember, Dave, what is Splinter Vibes?
SplinterVibes is songs, our songs about our characters, our cards. So there's one about Jicarella. There's one with Matt's card, Buttercup Mauler, and they're songs that we AI generated. We had, I think it was 6 or 7 people that worked with us, including you, Jangles, that created a few. And we have a total of, I think the number is 70 songs. So we have 70 songs in the first one, and they are pretty awesome. So what they are is you can listen to them on SoundCloud for free if you want. And if you're listening to the show and want to know, maybe Jangles can put a link in the SoundCloud, when he sums it up. But very diverse from kid songs to heavy metal to, hip hop, uh, to thematic, like cinematic type stuff, funny, like one of my favorites is the Henchling Enforcer, Little Levy. I mean, it just still cracks me up every time I hear that song. And you're going to be able to get those in the game. There's going to be 4 different ways you're going to be able to get it. Blaze will be putting out a post here in the next couple days, and players will be able to own them. No song will have more than 100 copies, at least in this version. In the first, like the alpha edition of Splinter Vibes, the first one. So they'll each have a 100 limit, and you'll be able to play them in your game. So there's a little toggle button if you own them. Let's say you had 5 songs, you could play the same song over and over. You could play all 5, you know, play in order if you want. Like it's up to you how you want to listen to your music. You can sell them if you win them and you don't like them, you can sell them. And I think it's going to be fun. I do know that Blaze and I are going to be 2 guys that are going to try to get them all, just because we've listened to them so much. So I don't really want to hype it because I really don't know what other people are going to think, but I can tell you, I think they're pretty awesome.
Well, there's definitely, I mean, the appeal of, I think for most kids from like late 90s, early 2000s have recollection, and where my mind jumps to is games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Grand Theft Auto, where you've got a selection of like different radio stations and real music that you can listen to while you play the game, and it's kind of immersed into the gameplay. That's where my mind jumps, and I love the idea of tokenizing these songs and turning them into NFTs. It's just, one more piece in the arsenal that we can use to reward folks, even if you are not a music guy, or if you've got beef with AI generated music, or whatever it is. You turn around and sell it. There's going to be somebody who's keen to pick up the tracks, and you want to build your radio collection and play it in game. It's awesome, and I think I was informed that one of my songs is on the initial list. I believe Ocarina, the llama song. I
I
believe is
can
on the
share it
initial
with,
rollout list.
yeah, I can share it with you guys if you want, and you can reveal it on your show
Yeah,
if you
sure.
all right. So I gotta find it. I got so many damn tabs open. Don't tell anybody how many tabs I got.
We can't even count
Not
that
more
high,
than
Oh,
me.
Dave.
you can't see
Not
it.
more
All right.
than you.
All right. So there's all right. So this is so what we're doing is in a week. I'm assuming that Gator's gonna work through it. We already got them up and playing in QA. So assuming no problems, that'll be next week on Tuesday. Um, we have 12 that we're going to initially release in 4 different distribution ways. So each way of distributing it has a purpose. So for instance, the first one is ranked play, minor, chest. So, anybody, getting the minor chest, which is the majority of people, actually get the minor chest, you have a chance at winning these. So unlike the skins that we put in the ultimate chest, we're gonna let, I guess the average person, so to speak, the guys that can't necessarily afford the ultimate chest, everybody can afford the minor chest if they want. So they'll be in that. So um whenever Jangles gets back, I'll let him reveal the characters. I
Well,
see you
yeah, so
just
we've got
it's like you just bought some gas for your car there, Jangles.
yep, fueling up, baby.
All right, so if you want, yeah, you can tell them the 4 different ways of distribution and tell them what's coming where.
Sweet. So first is the minor chest, and by the way, I love so with my alt account, I don't earn enough glint to really get after skins. I did take a gamble a couple seasons ago. I think it was maybe the holiday skins, and bought a couple of ultimate chests, but that was exhausting the entire pool of glint that I had earned the prior season to just buy. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 ultimate chests, and I rolled the dice. I got lucky and hit one of the ones I was after. But um, so I love that these prizes are coming to minor chess. Great call. So in minor chess, we've got the Venomancer and Bella. Um,
Then
in land resource distribution, we've got 4 different tracks. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, each of these are craftable via a different resource. Is that right?
yep, you can see it right down here.
Oh, right. Okay. So for grain, we've got the Craniac song. I love that song. I will be getting that one. For wood, we've got Jicarilla. Stone is Possibilis, and iron is Zarin. And again, a hundred copies of each of these tokens.
Yeah, you can give the price, the amount of the resource if you want.
So Craniacs is 350k grain. Jicarilla is 140k wood. Possibilis is 56k stone. And Zarin is 14k iron.
So there's only
And then-
100 of those, even
Yep.
craftable on land.
That's it.
So it's just a race to craft.
Yep. Or you can buy them. You can buy the resource and craft it, even if you don't even have land. Anybody can do them,
Gotcha.
right? Like
Right.
you go buy 350,000 grain, then turn around and craft that card. Or
So
that song,
can one account craft all the songs and like all the grain in one shot if you had enough grain?
theoretically, yes. But
Not just like I mean, could you just craft one song at a time? So you'd have to sit there and craft 100, or you can craft multiple songs.
I don't know the specifics of that, but we didn't want to gate it. I mean, I really don't think people are gonna go try to corner the market on something. Maybe they will, hopefully they won't. Hopefully
Hmm.
we have a little respect. Like it's cool to go get one, right? But I mean, do you have to have 50 of them or 100 of them? Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe I don't even know whether people even want them yet or not. Like we're going to learn a lot. So yeah, if people do that, then the next time we'll put some kind of breaker in there. My guess
Yeah.
is it won't happen that way. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I would just think with something so limited. I could see if there's 100,000, you could craft as many as you want with one click. But I would think with something so limited, like if you want to sit there and do it, you got to sit there and buy one at a time. Not even saying restricted to the quantity, but just you got to click one at a time in order to do it, so other people
it,
can.
it may be that way. I don't even know. But I like that you're thinking that, and you're not the only one that thinks that way. There's like Paul TRX. That was the first thing he brought up too. When I told him that we were going to make him out of land resource, he's like, what if somebody tries to buy them all? Like, I would say great in the long run because if people are like that focused on grabbing them because of demand, these are 12 of the 70 we have, so we have 58 more. And not only that, this is just our alpha edition. I'm pretty sure it was like super fun making these. I'm pretty sure the guys that made them will love to make an edition too. So it'll be pretty cool. If it catches on like that. So I'm not holding my breath. I mean, maybe, you know, like I said, me and Blaze each want to buy them all. I don't know about everybody else. I don't know about you guys, but some of these songs are badass. Like I like Possibilis. That's about the Team Possible somewhere. So I'm sure there'll be a few Team Possible guys that want to buy that. All right, let's go to number 3.
Oh, here we go. This is the real prize. Everybody listen up. So this is from the shop. Okay, so we will be able to buy them outright. There are 4 that will be listed here. One is Ocarina, Llama Mage. One is Xerx. One is Yaba's Pickle. And one is Arcane Skinwalker and a mix of DEC and Glint. So Llama is going to be 2K DEC. Xerx is 4K DEC. Pickle is 20K Glint. And Skinwalker is 40K Glint. Yeah, so this is fascinating to me, and this is going to be an interesting experiment to see which one sells better. Because my immediate reaction is I would prefer to spend, at least at this point in time, because of the amount of stuff that is exclusive to Glint purchasing, I'm going to be more apt to spend some DEC on this stuff than I am Glint. But I realize that that's probably not going to be everybody's reaction. I think there's going to be some folks that just refuse to spend DEC on anything and would much prefer spend the glint on items like this. But I mean, you never know. I mean, it would be the same thing with the question of, is somebody going to go in and mint all 100 Possibilis tracks on land and buy out the shop? Ultimately, I think it's a great problem to have, and trying to A/B test across different avenues of putting this product in front of folks is awesome.
Cool. I'm glad you like it, and yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're testing 4 different distribution methods, different price points, different currencies, different way of doing it. and really just trying to gather information. So whenever you start something from nothing, you got to figure it out. And the best way to figure it out is, do many different things and then compare and contrast,
Yep.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the fourth is via Frontier. And is this going to be when you're claiming your rewards? Oh, it's a
Yep.
jackpot.
Uh-huh.
So a jackpot prize is going to be the Kicking Rock and the Sorrow Harvester. Again, 100 each. And it is a jackpot prize.
Ooh, only in
Cool.
Frontier.
Only in
Yep.
Frontier, yeah.
Yep.
Bam.
Sweet.
And it's about one every 2,000 claims. So,
Ho ho.
and I mean, there's still 100, so they're still limited. So, we had
2,000 claims, meaning 3 a day. So you'd be
Yeah.
expected to get one every couple months. Something like that.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Sweet.
there's only 100, right? So we have a couple thousand people playing, actually like 3 or 4,000 people. So it ain't going to be easy to get those.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
But
I'm excited for so Dave, I don't think we've discussed, you've said that we could play this music in game. Does that mean we're gonna have a player available in ranked, in tournaments, in brawls, and I can just push play on my music and get back to playing the game, and this music is gonna play in the background? That's how it's gonna work?
I know for sure it's on ranked play because that was the part that was important. In other words, being able to let people while they're playing matches listen to, if they want to listen to this, they can, or they can listen to or they can turn the music off, or they can listen to what was already there. Like it's a choice, right? Like everybody gets a choice. I'm not sure. I know it was discussed whether they could do it in all the other modes at the same time. And I don't know how that came out because I don't get involved in all these details. I just make sure, the main stuff gets taken care of. So I'm positive you can play it in ranked. I don't know whether you'll be able to play it in every other mode. I think so,
Okay.
but I don't know.
Well, given how that's how most folks are consuming Splinterlands anyways, that makes sense. But like a site-wide overlay for like a music player would be a sweet evolution to work towards. Um, yeah, I have every intention of stacking my radio with a bunch of cool songs and 70 different tracks that'll keep your ears occupied for a good little while. And it will definitely get me, I think more importantly, it will get me to unmute Splinterlands, which has been pretty much on permanent mute for probably 3 years now. So
Yeah, no, I hear you. I do the same thing. I do the muting for many reasons, especially when you navigate to the keep page when you're harvesting and the trumpet blast comes at you. It's how Quantum Nachos feels with the air horn.
Yeah, I get
yeah,
it.
Nachos hates that thing. We love you, Nachos.
Well, we showed him how to turn it down. I think Clay showed him, like, hey, you can turn that down in your Discord,
Shoot.
That was a game change. That was life changing. All
I
right,
think
there.
it was. So this is coming live in next week's update, Dave. Is that right?
It should be, again, assuming no issues that popped up. In other
Cool.
words, yeah, we should be good.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll definitely include the SoundCloud link in the post. So if you guys are keen to refresh your memories with some of the awesome music that we've got that lives as SplinterVibes, check out the Peak D post. It will be there. All right. Well, so this is I mean, thus far we've talked about things that are coming fast and furious down the foreseeable future. Let's think a little bit bigger picture here to kind of wind down this last little hour together. So one of the big things that I think really perked up a lot of ears in the town hall was the talk around the revamp to guilds and guild brawls and buildings and offense, defense, using exemplars. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if we had any uh projected timeline on this stuff, Dave, or would you mind sharing some light on where we are in the process? Are we still trying to figure out what this can and should look like? Or are you guys starting to spec stuff out? What's the happening with the guild redo?
There's there's three major projects that Matt is working on. And then all the other things that happen, you know, Matt's not involved with. But his stuff is like I would call major projects, so to speak. In other words, he's designing it, he's making sure, all the different aspects of the game, are touched and they all fit together and blah blah blah. So like for instance, the skins for the season, he doesn't get involved in any of that. So those are things that happen that either Blaze or myself, work with creative and then, uh, push the push over to the devs and the devs get coded up. So the three things that Matt's focused on are what you just mentioned, the brawls, a brawl rework, and the goal there is to not only make it more interesting, but also to make it to use guilds to attract and retain players, right? Because it's a it's a tool that we're not utilizing very effectively. So he's trying to figure out like A, how to make it more fun, and B, how can we get more people to participate? New people in particular. So that's one project. The second project is land. It's going to be a major focus on buildings this year, which is we built the ability to do different things, but it was, I wouldn't call it a shortcut, even though it is a shortcut. It was more like a stepping stone. Um, but you don't need to build a full building, for instance, to make potions, right? But in the white paper and the plan is, we do need buildings to make this stuff, right? So, you know, to make a building, you need to, code all that in. And there's a lot of like number crunching and all kinds of stuff that you have to do. And so that's got to be like in the plumbing, right? The plumbing has to be all put together. And that's project number two is literally do all the things that we need to do to make plumbings from the plumbing, to make it work to the UI and how it looks. So that's project number two. And then project number three is the boss monsters, which is essentially PvE, which I think I look at his plan as something like a gauntlet mode with boss monsters. And I believe it's going to be spread out over time. So it's not like you're going to finish it in a day or a week. It's probably going to be months, like, okay, I'm going to go over and I'm gonna whoop my, the boss monster and see how I do. And with leaderboards and, like I said, the monster's gonna get better every time you beat it. So it's like a challenge, right? Like how high can I go kind of thing. All three of those are major projects. In terms of timing, they have different characteristics. So for instance, land is, it's a big project, but we can't really do much of anything until the plumbing's done, right? Like everything's connected underneath to make sure, when we start to build a building that, the number of land workers on the site, like if you remember from the town hall, you were going to have a variable amount of workers that are going to go up at above 50, which is, I think, a major positive. It's going to help with card demand. It's going to even out, some of the, systemic issues that we had in the game. So for buildings, that's going to be a big, big, big plus, but that's all got to be coded. So that's kind of its own project. And fortunately, we have Manser, who that's his job, right? Like he focuses on land. So he's out there doing that. He's like, I'll doing the hard work, the the heavy lifting. And then we have two projects that are a little less heavy, and that is, the guild brawls, I mean the guild monster, blah, 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 the boss monsters, and then the other project is the guild brawls. We made the decision to move the boss monster ahead of the guild brawls in terms of like what's next between those two. They're both big projects, but we wanted to move the boss monster up because it is kind of revolutionary for us in terms of its PvE. It's a gauntlet type mode. It's a different way to play the game. It should be fun and exciting, and it should be, it if successful, if we can do it right, would lead to a better experience for brawls as well. Because, for instance, one of the ideas in the guild update is going to be that, like, let's say the three of us, plus we go get Gold Matters and Dahota to join us, and the five of us go fight one of these big boss monsters, for instance, in the battle. And, like things like that are possible. Once it's been built, then you can determine, okay, well, how hard is it going to be to do this again over in the, guild, brawls, like make a building where we go do these kind of fights. So it's like, which one was more important? And, in the short run, that tool, that boss monster tool, I think is going to be a pretty big deal. So does Matt. So that's going to be first up. And then after that, then the guild brawls will follow. That was a long answer to, I guess I could have just said that in the beginning.
We took the scenic route, Dave.
Yeah,
We're a big fan of the scenic route here. Well, yeah. I mean, I think you hit on a point that I think we've seen kind of flesh itself out and fulfill exactly what you're saying, and that guilds are such a great starting point and sticking point for new players. So as you mentioned earlier, with guilds, or excuse me, with a primary focus for 2026 being continuing to polish in on and focus in on the new player experience, guilds being a big part of that, I think is absolutely the right call. Getting in with community and developing friendships and the camaraderie, and I would love to see, and it sounds like Matt has every intention of doing this. Once upon a time, he referenced Clash of Clans, and once upon a time that is a game that I played, but it's very community driven. It's very strategy based from a collective perspective versus just me fulfilling my team to beat Jimmy in this upcoming brawl. So yeah, introducing elements like that to coincide with continual developments on the new player acquisition and retention front, I think is absolutely necessary. So yeah, super excited to watch how this stuff pans out. And I don't know where, I think that's we're entering new waters when it comes to stuff like the boss monsters and the exemplars, and so maybe that is going to be just as meaningful for the new players as the guilds. And I think there are ways to lean on these new ways to consume Splinterlands in ways that we haven't had to market in the past. And something else that kind of serves as a backdrop to all of these conversations that we've been having today is, I think this year will be the first that we really get to see Blaze flex his marketing muscle, getting out there in front of new folks and showing off the product, because it's in a much better position than it was 18 months ago when he came on board. And we're just talking about adding additional arrows to his quiver to be able to speak to other brand new players to Splinterlands. That the more different ways that we have to interact and engage with the game, ultimately that's just a greater depth of talking points that Blaze can bring to the table when he's talking to new players.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we also have, like I said, those are the three main projects, but we have a whole onboarding thing coming that's going to reward, it's going to have wheel spins and pricing and, things that are just, we don't have right now. So we're going to be doing those things too. So, those aren't the only three things we're doing. Those are just three of the big things that we're doing. And all of them, by the way, are conceived in Matt's mind. Um, so it's not like he has no idea what we're doing for balls. Like he has a very good idea. Like you were talking about the offense versus defense and how that's going to work. I mean, there's a lot of things he's already, got in his mind. It's just when you come to like how are you going to roll it out, it just makes more sense to do the PvE version, the boss monster version, because if that's successful and popular and people like it, well, it's going to make you can bet you'll see something in the guild rework that will include that dynamic. That's the beautiful thing about at least where I think we're going is if we find something that works, we're gonna leverage it. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, no, everything is exciting to be hearing all of this. There's so much in the works and on the horizon. That's the PvE. That's unreal, actually. It's something we have been looking forward to for years and years and years. And the fact that it's actually right around the corner and I got to watch the demo of that is it's very exciting.
It's
Yeah.
something else that you're talking about, introducing these new levers into the game and leveraging them to their full potential. My mind jumps to marrying land with boss monsters. Imagine if Jimmy was able to put together like a band of crazy boss monsters that live on and protect his land. And anytime want to go into I don't know, maybe it's a whole new format that we haven't even dreamed up yet. But you can just go wander around Pretoria and you happen upon, Jimmy's band of monsters. Uh, Jimmy gets an in-game notification and can hop on and talk some shit, blare some air horns, and welcome to the Thunderdome,
Oh, they're all carrying
bitch.
air horns.
They're
Absolutely.
all carrying air
That's the
horns.
whole thing. We just shock you with air horns the whole time. No, that's it. Like Dungeon Crawl is the next, obviously the next PvE. That's got to be on the horizon, especially since we have land.
Yep.
So it doesn't
Yep.
have to be crawling through a dungeon, but a character moving through an actual environment would be
Yeah, having
pretty nice.
PvE opens up all this stuff, guys. I mean, honestly, like we've already talked about having like dragons, like making dragons or building dragons or breeding dragons, things like that
Or Imagine Dragons. Too
protecting your
soon?
land. Well,
Too
actually,
soon?
not
Sorry.
not
No,
quite.
I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
no. You can imagine dragons if you want, but like things like that. Yeah, added to your cards, defending your land, maybe for different resources. That are that you get maybe certain resources you get in battle. For taking them from somebody else, like. Maybe it doesn't even have anything to do with stone, wood, iron, and grain, but it could be they could be things that you could battle for. So yeah, having PvE is going to open it up a lot. Also arenas and things like that. I mean, we've done a lot of work. I mean, there's a lot of spec sheets out there of things to do in the future that is that we can do with the right uh, cadence, and the right team, to build. Like we only have so many people doing certain things, so we can't do everything right now. But get a little wind at our back, get our token stronger, get our player base growing, and all of a sudden, money starts coming in like in 2021, we would be in great position. I can tell you that for sure. So, we've had to operate in a massive bear market. Even since I've been here since March. I mean, it's brutal. I mean, look at all the businesses going, all the Web3 gaming companies that are going out of business, and they all gave up. right? They're like, some of them didn't even lose all their money. They just said, we just don't see a way we could ever make money, right? So they just wave the white flag, So I think that we're in a great position. And if we ever, flip and go the other way, then it starts stacking up pretty quick. So when we do that, like there's a lot of things that we could be doing. And I don't think I've seen the way the company, kind of like evolved, sort of, since I've been here, I've seen how things happened, prior to me getting here. And I think that we won't repeat the mistakes. Like a lot of things that we learned, like we might probably make new mistakes, but we're probably not likely to repeat the past mistakes. I'll put it that way.
which is huge.
Yeah, I mean, you
Totally.
always got to learn, always got to learn, no matter how old you are. One good thing about being old, is you only have, like you mentioned, the
Cheap
pace.
movies.
No, no, that
That's
too.
one thing.
But yeah, one other thing about being old is
Senior
I don't
discount at
have
Waffle
time.
House.
Yeah, I don't want to be here for 10 years saying the same damn thing. Like let's get it
Right.
done. It's if we're not going to get it done, I got other things I could be doing. But if we're going to make things happen, like now is our time. So that's kind of where we're at. How I look at it.
When we're watching, so I think about the crypto game and recovery fund, and we've watched proposals come from a place of one or two games maybe batched together to now it's a handful of projects that are getting batched together to receive support from the CGRF. If if you were to get asked, Dave, I'd love to hear you articulate why are we so different from all of these other projects that are closing up doors. Are you able to put your, are we just flush with intangibles that make us different? Did we learn from our mistakes? Did we make some correct strategic hires? My personal opinion is it's a little bit of a mixed bag of all of these things. Uh, but seeing things from the inside, is there one or two things in particular that you would put your finger on and highlight as, what is our secret sauce? What is our X factor? Why are we able to continue sustaining and growing, and we keep the lights on, and we're churning out new product, and we've got our community as excited as they've ever been for the most part, and you guys we're pushing out new iterations of the product on a weekly basis. So what is it in your mind that separates us from the pack? Why are we so different?
Before Dave answers, I will give my 2 cents.
The sauce,
Explosion,
the grease.
mustaches, pickles, chocolate babies, and yes, the grease.
I mean, that's a deep question, and there's not one or two. There's quite a few. So I'll try to go fast and not ramble too much. Number one, and most important, is we're legit. Meaning, the people running the company, Matt in particular, everybody believes and trusts Matt, and he's never was the guy that was out to make a buck. He wanted to make a great game. He cared. Um, and people respect it. Even if Matt made mistakes, people are like, hey, he tried, right? Like we know he cares. And I think that's huge relative to almost all those projects that you look at. Like a good chunk of them are corporate. They raise money. They caught a hot, if you guys remember back to the days when, people were like, win Binance, like get listed, like, and pump the token, but it's like the whole crypto bro mentality. We never really had that as a company. It frustrated a lot of the crypto bros, because they wanted that, right? They wanted it to pump. They didn't care if it was legit. But Matt did, right? So, that was probably the most important thing that has got us through to a great idea, a great space. The whole trading card, own your own assets, crypto revolution is still there. It may not be like a lot of people may have lost faith in it, but it's still there. It was there when we started. It's still there today. There are a lot of people that spend a lot of money on TCGs and get nothing for it. You get cards, right? And when you have $1,000 cards, the difference, right? Now, obviously, we got to get more people to understand it, and we have other issues that we have to deal with. But the general philosophy was good. I think the depth of our game is excellent, meaning, and it's gotten better. I would say Conclave Arcana was this massive step up, and we were always good, but I think we've now like gone to the top in terms of you know uh, complexity, understand, like just people are passionate about playing the game, especially at the top. Like the gamers really love playing it at the top. We have to work on underneath, but at the top, there's no doubt guys want to play, guys want to compete, guys want a challenge, and we certainly have that. I think that the assets that we have were overproduced at one time, and it's happened everywhere. Um, and we pulled the trigger in terms of fixing our imbalance well way earlier than the other guys. We didn't do a perfect job of it, like they weren't ahead of it, meaning, they didn't like see it coming, so they've had to react, but they reacted. If you think about Chaos Legion, we bit the bullet and did Rebellion much differently, and there's much less Rebellion than there was Chaos Legion, and we suffered for it, and that set, was our low water mark, and now Conclave Arcana is now growing relative to that, but it took that one set to reset it. A lot of companies haven't been able to do that, right? Another thing we did, we grew our employee base, our expense base. I mean, at one point, I forget the number, but it was huge, like 500,000 a month, some huge number they were spending on server costs back in the day when, when 2021, when everybody was flowing in, and we're still having to manage the way that, like, we cut a third of our expenses last year, or budgeted this year over last year. Um, so we're still in the phase of trying to match expenses to revenues, and do it in a sustainable way. I don't believe hardly any of these projects are run by business people. I don't think that they fully understand or grasp that. And if they are, they're generally the BC types that I was talking about that are in there for a quick buck. And, so it's kind of a unique combination of, our evolution, you know, we developed a lot of good tools. We brought in great people, like guys like Gator. Like I said, I'll put Gator up against anybody, in the space. I mean, as a dev, I mean, that dude can do anything. I can say, hey, Gator, here is a spec sheet, how long is it going to take? And he will let me know, like right off the bat, within a minute. It's not like he has to go home and study it for 2 weeks. Like he will know. All the other people that do all kinds of other things, I mean, a lot of them have learned on the job, and we kind of have the best of the best. That's one good thing that happens when you staff up and you get a whole lot of people, and then you have to cull it, and get a good, like let people go, which always sucks. But when you get that, what's left, those are usually, by definition, the best, right? Like, so that's kind of where we are right now. We've got some really strong, tough people that care about things. They've had to take reductions, over that time since 2021. They've had to, make sacrifices, and they do, so we cut a lot of expenses, and, we didn't lose anybody in the process. So that just tells you the quality of the people. They care about the game. They care about the business. They care about the community. They are players themselves. And I don't think there's a lot of other people in our space that, think that way. So And then finally, I would say, and like I said, this was long-winded. I didn't expect it, but so I'm not prepared for it. But our community is absolutely unmatched. It's the depth of people. I mean, we're worldwide. We got people, all over the world. Jangles, you're coming at us. The People's Guild runs out of Taiwan. We got people literally all over the world. Different backgrounds, different mindsets, different money, um, and they all, have been attracted to, what we have. Obviously, we have our fair share of negatives in the community from time to time when we screw up, and to some degree that's good feedback, right? To know, like, oh, I screwed up, like it's okay that they were upset. But I would say by and large, you just look at the quality of the people that we have. They show up for almost every sale. We just did that land card sale. I didn't know how that was going to go when I priced it. I mean, I was, I felt that it was a good deal, but I didn't know for sure who was going to show up. And I mean, they sold out, they sold out fast. Um, it's just great that, what that means. I think it was probably on your show that I mentioned it first, the difference between hope and confidence, right? Like, in the beginning, you hope you do well, right? But when you hope, you really not confident you are. You just hope, right? Like, geez, I hope something good happens, right? But when you hit that point where there's confidence, then the difference is you just, you believe it, right? And that makes a big difference. So, um, I think we're kind of in that position where a lot of community members are starting to get confidence. There was a big transaction where one of the big whales bought out another of the big whales, over the past, month or so. Um, and that kind of stuff is what happens, when confidence gets built. Like sure, people are gonna have stuff that happens. Some are gonna go for various reasons, maybe nothing to do with the company. But now we have people that are stepping in and, saying, "Hey, I'm excited about the future." And so I think our community deserves a lot of credit too. And that's not just saying it nice. I mean, hell, we look at our sales versus a lot of these other guys. Like sometimes people are like, "Hey, go look at this company. It's really good. They've got something really cool and blah blah blah." And I go look at it, and I saw, like, I'm not going to name the name, but like their sales were like 200 grand, for like a big set. And I'm like, 200 grand. I mean, we just did that with 4 cards on our land, right? And like our community, that's not because we are doing it. That's just we have an awesome community that believes and focuses on the future. So anyway, I'll stop rambling. Probably more in there I didn't think about, but I'll go with that for the answer for now.
Lord, I was born a rambling man. We love your rambles, Dave. Those are perfect.
All right. Well, thank you,
Very
Jimmy.
insightful. Yeah.
I mean, I think those are the big pillars that you talk to the average person in Splinterlands, and I think it was shout out to Gold Matters. I think he's put something out around Christmas time. It might have been Thanksgiving. It might have been, not now that I say it out loud. I think it may have been a Thanksgiving related post in response to one of the big Web3 creators asking about, what's kept us here. And, I think those kind of core pillars that you just walked through, Dave, I think was, that's kind of the who's who, or the what's what of the responses that, I was combing through on Twitter or on X. One of the big ones, I mean, I think we're all biased to a certain degree, that because we are all a part of the community. Dave, you were a part of the community first before you were ever part of the team, and you're still very much entrenched in the community with all your phone calls and podcasts and meetings and projects that you're working on that are, I would say Splinterlands adjacent, but still very much, born and founded in Splinterlands. Uh, but I think there's a lot of merit to what we have heard over the years, that the community here it's so unique. It's one of a kind, and for the most part, yeah, we have some toxic stuff. I think, it's just like any community in the world, whether, virtual or in real life. But for the most part, this community is so badass, and they always tend to turn up and come out with some cool stuff to help support what you guys are doing. And we're seeing the latest community, I guess, hype is around the mini set, which is something that we haven't even touched on in this episode thus far, and that's arguably one of the bigger projects that's coming up in the next month. And we're talking about everything but the mini set. But watching the community come up with these creative ways to reveal cards and come up with videos and fun and engaging stuff on X and YouTube and Peak D, whatever. Um, there just never seems to be a shortage of creativity and passion for what it is that you guys are doing. And I have to wonder, like, I'm not as intimately involved in any other community, this video game community, that I am with Splinterlands. But I have to wonder, like, is there any other game community, Web3 community, crypto community that's as cool as we are? I don't know. I joke and say, what's up, nerds? And just about every meeting that I walk into, I was corrected abruptly yesterday and told that I should be announcing my arrival with a "Welcome to the cool kids. What's up, cool kids?" instead. Uh,
Nah,
nah,
we're
yeah,
all
we're still a bunch of
nerds.
nerds.
We're nerds.
We're a bunch of
Yeah,
nerds. But
we're definitely nerds. We're
I mean,
definitely
I mean
nerds.
that's a real
Yeah.
question though. I mean, Jimmy, you've been around crypto stuff for a long time, and I mean, have you seen a community that is as cool as what we've cooked up here and put together over the years?
No, not as cool and not as long lasting. That's another thing. I've been involved in there was one other that was a lot of fun. It was that old blockchain hero. We made a card with those guys, the Hero of Beyond, the blockchain hero guys, the guys who started the Bad Crypto podcast. There was a lot of fun involved with hanging with those guys for a while. But again, it was short-lived. It was one cycle basically. And then it kind of pittered out like a lot of projects do,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
think it's a lot harder than people think. Like
Yeah.
I told people, like, you know, the stuff we're doing with skins and avatars and songs, that's those are pricing that is not card related. Like, cards are one form of pricing, SPS is another form, deck was another form, but we're also growing the pricing. And that over time, I believe is going to be a big differentiator. I don't think a couple of them have it. A couple of them are actually ahead of us in terms of developing those, like, cosmetics, I guess I'll call them, um, or collectibles. You can look at it both ways. I mean, there's two different aspects there, but I do believe that we're ahead of most in this space. And if all your plan is to, like, make a governance token, give out your governance token, catch a pump, right? And then, get rich and then, end it. Like, I think all those companies are going to end up, like the ones you see right now. Like, you
And we
have
did
to
have
have
that
them.
chance. We had the
Yeah.
chance. I mean, we
Yeah.
were what SPS dropped at like $1,
Yep.
and there was a bunch of people on that first few days who were literally hundreds of thousands of dollars just dropping right into your account there.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and we
And,
all held. Well, most of
right.
us we
Yep.
held.
And you get a situation where that then what that does is that brings out all the people, like, that see an opportunity. It's kind of like AI right now. Like, AI is important, right? Or exciting, what can be done with AI. And look at all the AI companies starting up, right? Because, like, there's money there, right? So when there's money there, like, a lot of people start up. But there's a saying that when the tide goes up, you find out who's been swimming naked. And that's the same philosophy. Like, all those guys are kind of pretenders. They came in, they thought they were going to take advantage of the hype, and they didn't really focus on the things that were important. The community, the the assets, the credibility, the long-term vision, all that stuff that, they don't do any of that, right? They're just here to, see if they can, catch a ride, like, you know, so yeah, I'm excited, honestly, because I think we're in a great spot. You know, we had challenges, like it hasn't been an easy, 9 months. Like there's been a lot of things to do. We managed to do all those things that you said were cool, right? And nice and fun and, impactful, which I'm happy about. Like that's always got to happen. But at the same time, we've also done a lot of things to make our business run better. We make decisions a lot faster. We get out, things a lot quicker. Our expenses have been, scrutinized, and cut, to a level, that we should be in a good spot. So, you can never focus on you can never predict the future. All you can do is do your best. And I think we're in excellent shape.
I wonder how many, Dave. I know you're always quick to take the humble road, and I think that's what a lot of folks find endearing about you.
That's a
And
song
you're
right there, The Humble Road, baby. Yeah.
write it,
Another
Jimmy.
one. Well,
Uh,
AI, baby. I don't write
hey.
songs anymore. It's all AI. Bam, do it.
But I wonder how many Web3 games have sought out, you know, Dave, I'm not going to call out your age here, but the old school, like business first, let's focus on the bottom. I would guess that the number of companies that have gone under, that have hired and sought out somebody with, a resume like yours, I'd be shocked if there were any. So, like I said, I know you're very quick to heap the praise on the team, and it's admirable that you do that. But uh, I can't help but think that you have been such a difference maker in this sea change that we've experienced and setting us up for such success the way that you have, and putting us in the position for capitalizing and making the most of our potential moving into the new year. Um, do you have any idea if there are other guys like, from with a resume with credentials like you that are operating in the Web3 space?
I don't, I don't know. And as far as my resume goes, I was asked, by Matt, when we first talked about the job, like, what experience do I have in making games? And the answer was, well, when I was like 11 years old, I did make some games from my football cards back in the day, but that was about the extent of my game making experience. So, when you talk about the resume, I guess it matters, what you value, right? And maybe what you need. I wasn't too concerned about my game making skills. I cared more about making sure the business runs like a business and that you list the customers and, all the things that, I've learned in a business. And then figured I could, use my consulting experience to, get in the middle and try to find like solutions. As far as what other people have, I'm sure there's guys out there that have a lot more gaming experience than I do, even now. Um, there's probably I don't know whether there's people that have more business experience. If they don't, it's only because I'm old. Um, you know, but having said that, I do like where we stand relative to our competition. I do think it's there was a lot of pretenders. There's a lot of guys that, raised money, hey, we're gonna throw money, and it's kind of like Andrew Wall, that came in. I guess I can talk about him now. Like my second day on the job, I mean, the dude was like completely, um, can I say it? And now Gold Matters are
Oh,
clipped.
Yes, you can say it.
I
Say
gotta,
it.
I gotta be careful what I say because this will probably be clipped. But Andrew was, he was definitely one of those,
just
puffers. Like,
blowing
yes,
smoke. Yeah.
yeah,
Is that the marketing
exactly.
dude? The
Yeah,
marketing dude?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he was perfectly happy to take $500,000, throw it out there, see what stuck, get his cut off of it, and, we live or die on that, right? Like I'm not about to do that. Like I'm not gonna like gamble our future on some untested thing with no metrics whatsoever, and no clear answers as to what we're gonna do. So like literally
Monorail.
my second day on the job was, essentially you know, dealing with that situation. So, but I think that's very typical of what was happening in the space. The influencer model, the hey, we can, just give us a 500,000 or 1 million and we can do all these things for you. I mean, all those guys are all either gone or on their way out because it's not easy, right? You do have to do traditional things. Like you have to develop a product that people are going to be attracted to, that want to continue to play, that are going to feel, excited about coming in and, do it. You can't just make it like, hey, come in, get involved because other people are going to buy, right? And that's literally a Ponzi scheme. And I think a lot of our competitors were doing things like that, right? They were just like buy because other people are going to buy later, right? And when it stops, then you get the consequences, which in my opinion is the greatest opportunity ever for us. Like where we sit today, like there's a business that like pumped up and grew and then it's collapsed because of all the pretenders, as I said, and those pretenders go away. What's left, you're going to be a strong group of core people that got it down, and all good ideas, all good uh things that are naturally going to happen in life are going to still happen with or without people. So all those pretenders are gone. That's cool. That's just less money that's going to be that siphoned off on the next bull run that we have. So the next bull run, they're not going to have all these, those list of companies that are going out. There's only going to be a few that you can point to and say, hey, those guys got it figured out. And when I say got it figured out, or on the right path to figure it out, I can tell you right now, if we could demonstrate that we could grow, consistently, like those 11,000 people were an eye opener. Now, all of a sudden we get a decent percentage of those that stick on a regular basis. Watch what happens to what we do. I mean, it will blow your mind at how fast. Like right now, the whole space is suffering from confidence, just the space in general. Like there are people like you could watch out on X, you'll see they'll say, I kind of lost faith in, crypto gaming in general, or it's just one big Ponzi scheme, or, things like that, because that's what they were in. They were in one of the pretender projects. We've been around 7 years, at some point people are going to say, hey, they're here for real, and I'm excited. So I even forget what question I rambled so damn much. I forget where you started me there, Jangles.
Uh, you taking the humble road, Dave, and you did it again. But yeah, I mean, I think that that when you look at the other projects, and I was kind of keeping an eye a couple of years ago, keeping an eye on a couple of projects, and some of the other games interested me, and but it seems like that has been like the very steady and constant narrative over the last couple of years is maybe it's a bit of a slower pump and dump, but it's still a pump and dump is what a lot of these games felt like. And
Yeah,
it
even the big
feels
ones, they came
even
and
the big
gone.
ones.
They're like they
Yeah.
came, they were around for a little while, and then they just fade away like a
Yeah.
fart in
Yep.
the wind.
Yep.
Yep.
I
Pretenders.
think we broke out that analogy a couple of episodes ago, and
Really?
it had been years since I had heard that, and it never gets old, man. Fart in the
I have
wind.
no idea how that came to mind right there. Yeah, no, but it is fantastic imagery when appropriate.
Yep, yep. But that's the difference maker, man. And I think you not being a game maker on your resume, I think is a distinct advantage, and you having that resume from focusing on the bottom line and listening to your customer and driving the product towards what the customer wants. I mean, that's what Web3 was missing, man. So, not to spend a half hour heaping praise on you, Dave, but I think you are the secret sauce that has set us up for making the most of our potential coming into this year. And you talk about, I know you're playing this stuff close to the chest, but talk about you and Blaze looking 3, 4, 5, 6 months into the future and already starting to plan for what is next when that time arrives. All the while you're adding to your own arsenal of understanding, the Web3 space and what it takes to operate a game and develop a game and all the rest. It's hard not to be confident in 2026 being, we keep saying, it's going to be Splinterlands year. Well, I think it's never been closer than it is now. Especially as folks continue to lose, non-Splinterlands folks continue to lose their quote unquote home game. We keep developing cool stuff. We're giving more folks a reason to come check us out, and all the while we're shoring up reasons for them to stick around. So yeah, I'm stoked, man. It's an exciting time to be here. Mini set survival mode, new guild stuff, new brawls, overlords, boss monsters, explosions, air horns, exemplars, land.
Bam.
Yeah,
Land explosions
bam.
and out. Yeah, air horns. Oh, we got to get air horns in game. It's so much fun in Discord. We have to.
We're
get
gonna
those in
do
game.
one other thing we're working on. If they gotta put this emojis.
I love that.
So that's the latest, by the way.
So I whoop
Hey,
Jimmy's ass in game. I could drop a
yeah,
big poop emoji on his exemplar.
yes, yeah, or, maybe not a poop. They may be Splinterlands
A
centric.
fart. Do we got to figure out a fart in the wind emoji? That's
We may have to. I don't know the cards that are bad, but what's that one summoner you didn't like in Dice? I think it was. What was the
me.
Dallin? Yeah, like
Oh,
we'll
I
make.
loved Dallin.
Dallin.
Oh, you didn't
Everyone
like
made fun of me
Dallin?
because I loved Dallin and everybody
All
else
right,
hated him.
all right.
But
Well, that
Well,
yeah,
wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't Dice though. That was the next one.
that was
okay.
Rift
Rift
Watchers.
Watchers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Dice. I mean, Dice. Every summoner is amazing,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, I was just trying to pick one. Like instead of having a poop emoji, we may have like different
The
Splinterlands
summoner
type thing.
equivalent.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
fun.
we're talking.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
I don't know if you guys noticed the stuff like the backgrounds on the special seasons, for instance.
the card.
Oh,
It
it
The
now
looks
card
pops
great,
out
backgrounds.
man.
at you. Like
Oh no, those are
the
awesome.
arena
Yeah.
like pops out at you. Like we're doing a lot of stuff like that. Like snowballs, we were instead of the hatchet, we're now like they made some snowballs that got thrown.
Those were awesome. I saw those. Those were
Yeah.
great.
So
Those were
we're
great.
limited
The
only
changing
to.
backgrounds is awesome.
Yeah, I mean we're getting there in terms of like experimenting like if you think back we now have sounds like got him, whenever you hit got him he says got him, like that's every time I use him and he kills somebody. I love that, so
The pickle sounds. There's pickle
yeah,
sounds in there.
pickle sounds, yep. So
Yeah.
yeah, we got a lot of things that we can be doing. Obviously we have to pick and choose where to start and where to get going, but we're definitely we got a lot that we could be doing. So
So where are these emojis going? Like, what's the deal with the emojis? Like, where do you put an emoji in Splinterlands?
we were gonna put them in at least initially we were talking about doing them in after the battle. Like you could
Mhm.
set, like if you beat Jangles, you could taunt him with a couple taunt, choices like, or, like, whatever,
The
like
double bird.
yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
Or the crank.
I mean, we
Crank it
haven't
up.
fully
Crank it
figured it
down.
out other than we know that it shouldn't be a huge lift. And like I said, Nate's team's got a lot of things to do, so it's not happening next week or anything. But, those are the kind of ideas we want to keep doing. Blaze wants to do, like we talked about the snowball. He wants to customize cards, like certain, like take Yabba's card with it where he's where he's a range guy and he's throwing those like
Throwing the
SPS
pickle?
shards, right? No, the
Yeah, the other Yabba.
that
Yeah.
he's showing, he wants to make those actually being thrown from that card. So those are like special things that you can either win or buy, to make your card even cooler, so to speak. So,
That's
there's
awesome.
a lot of things like that that we're working on in terms of ideas. And then, we got a big list of stuff. Got Battle Pass coming, working on. Um, a lot of people have a lot of fun ideas that we take from the community too. Like we're talking about SPS, letting people swap, trade their SPS that they win in battle for glint. Like so, if you want to double your glint, you can do without your SPS, things like that. Different
Oh
points
yeah, I
of
remember that.
season.
Awesome.
Yeah, like stuff like
Awesome.
that. We're exploring a lot. So pick up every rock, look under it, and see what's there. Maybe there's nothing, but never going to hurt to look.
Every
Where'd
once in a
Django
while,
go,
you're gonna find a fart in the wind
man?
under that rock. No,
And
that's fantastic, man. You guys are coming up with a lot of great ideas. I love that SPS for glint option. Some people are just gonna want that. They're gonna say, "Hey, I don't want this SPS. What is this? Give me some glint. I want
yeah,
stuff."
and we'll burn the SPS too, by the way. If they elect it, we'll burn the SPS and become something that's good for everybody. So,
Nice. So literally, they could say, I don't want SPS rewards. I want glint." And then you burn the SPS they would have gotten, turn it into
yep,
glint.
yeah.
I
We,
like that. I
we just
like that.
burn it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Ooh, can you actually have the graphic of it burning so the little guy shovels the SPS into the fire
Maybe.
and then glint comes out?
Jimmy, you're very visual.
That's what she said. Oh, sorry. Yep.
All right, I'm done talking. You guys should talk a little bit. I like hearing what you guys have to say. I talk way too much.
I got nothing else. I mean, full disclosure, I've been pretty much MIA the last 5 weeks and really started sinking my teeth back into all things Splinterlands this week. Um, and I feel like I'm caught up. I'm excited. I think, we got a big couple of weeks ahead. I'm looking forward to SplinterVibes next week. The jury is still out on how I want to interact with the mini set. Being a card tester, I've had the advanced look at these cards, and they look like I should absolutely be unstaking my SPS, but I have a really hard time unstaking my SPS.
Yeah, I'm in that boat. Same boat.
Yeah, so I mean, I got a what, 2 weeks to make a decision, or I guess about a week before I have to unstake if I'm going to. So yeah, I'm just kind of waiting and seeing what's happening. I very well could pull the trigger. I've never been closer to hitting 1 million, which is a big landmark for me.
Oh,
I'm at
you gotta hit 1 million, Jimmy.
970, right around 970 right now.
How
Uh,
much would
Wow.
you have to unstake? Like all of it to get your
to get a max set, I think I would need to part ways with about half, and there's
oh,
no way I'm doing that. I can't
yeah.
bring myself to do that. I've
Can't
been
do
working
that.
on this
Don't do
for
it. Don't do
too
it.
long. Yeah.
Because if all of this stuff we're talking about comes to pass, then the value of that SPS, you'll be kicking yourself in the nuts like that meme for parting with your SPS when it was only 0.008 cents a
Yeah.
pop.
I mean, but that's a great problem for not just me, but for every single community member to have to struggle with, right? Like, we want people to have to make that choice. How do I participate? I want the cards. I need to participate in some way, shape, or form. So that's kind of at the forefront of my mind. We're working on some cool stuff. I know Blast, Dave, you and I have been meeting with Blast on a pretty regular basis the last couple of months, and that guy, mad scientist in a crazy laboratory, is always cooking up some crazy fun stuff. And I think we're getting ready to see the grand reveal of at least one piece of his projects, which is Stay tuned. Check out our boy OFG, Our Faded Glory. I think he's going to be um, the inaugural guinea pig, for lack of a better word, and revealing one of Blast's games on his Twitch streams. Um, yeah,
That's the one you were
there's
showing me
just
earlier.
that's the one we
Yeah,
were showing you earlier. Yeah,
Yeah, that looks so much fun.
it
it's
is.
fun. It is
And
fun.
those are the kind of things that like build on each other too, right? Like having Twitch set up, is one of those things that kind of really like now we're leveraging it, right? We have OFG's been doing Twitch and getting an audience and credibility, and now all of a sudden we put this cool thing that he's going to be doing, and boom, you never know where it's going to lead.
Yeah,
Boom.
and the other minds of back to the community comment that we made earlier. Uh, People are going to see that it was a community driven project, and they're going to get their own ideas, and who knows what's going to come out of it. So I'm excited that that's finally coming to pass. Couldn't ask for a better dude to reveal it. Big fan of OFG and what he does. He runs a real professional stream over there most of the time. The occasional inappropriate comment, but just like a fart in the wind. By the way, that's going to be the thumbnail. Fart in the wind. I've just mocked it up over here.
Yeah, we don't know anything about inappropriate comments over here.
Yeah, so not much else to say from me. I couldn't ask for a better episode to kick off season 5. I appreciate all the messages of support and questions of when is TPG coming back. Well, here we are. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Jimmy, any final comments from you, dude?
No, I mean that pretty much sums it up. There's a lot of things in the oven right now, a lot of things to look forward to. I'm sensing a lot of good things happening this year for Splinterlands, and very much looking forward to it. While there might be madness in the rest of the world, Pretoria is raging in a good way.
Raging.
When is
Raging.
when are you guys going to bring Walking back?
Who are
I've
you
been
talking
seeing
about?
him do some AI music stuff lately. He's publishing on his main Splinterlands YouTube. So I don't know. I think he's still keeping tabs on stuff.
I'm not talking about Walking Keys. I said
Oh,
walking.
The other
oh,
walking,
walking.
Yeah,
the
walking.
other
Well,
guy,
Jimmy,
the
that
other
one's for you,
guy.
buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other guy. Maybe he'll come back right now for just a minute. Say hello.
I just
Rock the
love it.
sauce.
I'm happy you're here, Mr. Walken.
We have to bring him into the game at some point. That would be a great card. And he could say things in battle as he kicks ass.
Take that.
Yeah.
Take that. Take that.
Yeah. We can definitely
Yeah.
do that, by the way. So yes, we
That
should
would be
get you. We
good.
could get you recorded and get some of those things in the game. That would be very fun.
Take that.
Yeah. I'm sure you could come
Ciao.
up with a handful of those too, by the way. You put your mind to it, Jimmy. I would say by the end of the night, you could probably have at least a dozen cool things that, Mr. Walken could say to us.
We'll
After-
brainstorm on the next TP call.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Which
But yeah,
again,
but,
anyone's invited to. Anyone who
I'm
wants
still
any
waiting
dork,
for I misinterpreted Christopher Walken for Walking Keys. I keep waiting for that guy to pop back up around also. So you guys keep doing cool stuff at Team Pretoria. I'm sure he'll make an appearance before
Yeah,
too long.
Walking Keys is awesome. I'm thrilled to see he's doing so well too. So
Yeah.
he released, was it a whole album?
I think he's doing like full playlists at a time, and I haven't seen him come out and talk about it. I haven't been on Twitter much at all the last couple of months. It's just been too busy. But I know he was planning to release a book in maybe September or October. That was his last
About
big
what? What was this?
project. It was about, I think it was kind of like Ready Player One, where a kid was escaping to virtual reality, some video game, and it was. I'm gonna
Like
butcher
Tron?
the summary.
Like
Kind
Tron.
of. kind of, yeah, yeah, something like that. And it was like tied to family and like reconnecting with his parents or something like that through the video game. I don't know. But I think it came out September, October. That was his last big project. And I don't know if he still listens to TPG. I know he used to, but if you're out there, Keys, say what's up.
Yeah, good dude. Great dude.
What's that?
Yeah, Keys is the man.
That's like our, like even people that leave our community, I think feel comfortable coming back. That's one cool thing about our community.
Yeah.
Like Gentleman Magnetic showed up in Discord today. He hadn't been around for a year. He popped in. It's like he never left. People started having conversations, filling him in. Here's what you missed. Go play this. I can delegate you cards. Blah blah blah. So that's cool.
And it's not a one-off. I feel like especially since last summer, the number of folks that were returning. There's a couple of key names that I'm waiting to see turn up. Folks like Luthien, Darkest Night. There's a couple of OGs that were streamers and/or big fun personalities to hang out with in the community, and it's just a matter of time. We keep pushing the right buttons, so they'll turn up.
I think that when we lose people because they lost hope or confidence or both. We get it back. I believe a lot of people still pay attention to what's going on here.
I think so. Yep.
So,
All right, gentlemen. Well, a lot of fun. Dave, thanks for making the time per usual, coming to hang out with us goofball nerds, cool kids, whatever you want to call us.
By the way, you can't take the mantle of cool kids. That was, Royal Eagle and AR-37. Yeah, those guys, those were the cool kids. We were just gracing their presence. So we're the nerds still, the dodos. So
all right, yeah. All right.
Oh, dude, my wife has walked past many times when I'm in the kitchen or the TP call is on, and we are definitely nerds. Trust me.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, well, cool. And if you need to edit out some of my rambling, feel free. You could probably cut it down at least 30 minutes.
Or we could extend it to a 0.5 speed, so it's like really long.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put your segment in AI, Dave, and ask for another hour.
Yeah.
Get us to that 7-hour episode.
One thing I like about Gold Matters, whenever Gold Matters does a clip, he always speeds me up. So it's not as slow talking. So thank you, Gold Matters, for speeding me up whenever you did. I actually sound intelligent when he's there. He chops out some of the stutters and definitely gets me moving. So thank you.
That'd be great. We could hear Dave talking really quick, and then we can get through the episode a lot faster than we normally would.
Exactly. There you go. That's it, Jimmy.
Oh, you nailed it, Jimmy. All right, everybody.
All right, guys.
Yeah, thanks again, Dave. Let's take this baby home. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We'll catch you hopefully next week. We're back on track. In the meantime, you have been listening to
the People's Guild.
Bam.
A shadow walks where the lights can't find, smiling wide with a voice not mine. A flicker, a twist of face untamed, every moment a new game framed. Who am I when the mirror breaks? What's real when the mask remakes? All welcome bingo, a dance, a roar, one step ahead forevermore. I'm the storm you'll never see, unstoppable, uncatchable me. A whisper bends like a blade through uncatchable me. Almo Cambindo, a dance, a roar, one step ahead forevermore. I'm the storm you'll never see, unstoppable, uncatchable me.